Okay, in this one, they tell us that tangent of theta is 5/12, and they tell us that sine of theta is negative, and then they want me to find sine and cosine's values. So, a couple different routes we can go. I am going to look at the quadrants first, A, S, T, C. So, here you can see that tan is 5/12, so tan is a positive number. And then sine is negative, so that tells me, or sine is less than 0, so sine is a negative number. So I have to piece together which one of these quadrants we're in. Well, all of them are positive. That's not going to work. Only sine is positive. Well, look, sine is negative, so that's not going to work. Tan is positive. Ooh, I think that's it, because it says tan is positive, and it doesn't, and then sine is negative, and cosine is negative, so I think that's it. And then I'm going to just check this last quadrant. This says cosine is positive, but then the other two are going to be negative. So you can see tan's positive, so that's not work. So we're in quadrant 3. What that tells me is tan is positive, and, oops, what's the other one I'm looking for? Cosine is negative. So I need to use that when I do my work over here. So now what I'm going to do is take this right here and turn it into a triangle. I know tan of theta is 5/12. You should know TOA in SOHCAHTOA. So this is going to be the opposite, and this is going to be the adjacent. So I draw my triangle. May or may not be to scale. In this case, it's not really. I label my theta. I label my right angle. This is the hypotenuse. This is the opposite. This is the adjacent. So I'm going to go and put my 5 right here because that's opposite. And I'm going to put my 12 right here because that's adjacent. Next thing I'm going to do is use Pythagorean theorem. I know that a squared plus b squared is c squared. So a is going to be my 12 squared plus my b squared is going to be my 5 squared is equal to my c squared, which is, we'll call it x squared. Call that x for now. If you add these, you get 144 and 25. That adds to 169 is equal to x squared. If I square root that, we get that x is equal to 13. So I'm going to bring this up here. I'll actually just erase this and write 13. So now I want to find tangent and cosine. So I need to make sure I use these positive, negative pieces here. Not tangent, sorry. Go back to here. Tan's positive, cosine's negative. Or cosine's negative. I'm also looking for sine. So another piece of this would be that sine is going to be negative. So these are the two that I'm looking for. Sorry about that. So I'll write that out. Sine of theta is equal to, it's going to be a negative fraction. Cosine of theta is going to be a negative fraction. So now I just got to fill in. Sine is O over H. So I take the opposite, which is 5. Put over the hypotenuse, which is 13. Then cosine is A over H. So what's the adjacent? It's 12. Over what's the hypotenuse? It's 13. And then those are my answers. And they're both negative. They match the quadrant, and we're good to go.